As you guys can see from the thumbnail, in this video, I'm going to tell you guys why I love Brazil. So if you are someone thinking about moving to Brazil for whatsoever the reason might be, this video is for you. So stick around with me. Whenever people ask me why I love Brazil, I always pause for a moment because honestly, it's very hard sometimes to put into words. There's just something about living here in this country that just feels right. It's not just the weather or the beautiful cities or the beaches you normally see in the travel vlogs. It's actually way deeper than that. It's the way life feels more lighter and more real. And I always tell people that I actually didn't choose Brazil because I think Brazil chose me. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why I fell in love with Brazil through my own personal experiences. I'll talk about the people, the food, how easy it is to get around, how education works, how affordable life can actually be, and one of the most important things, the freedom I feel just being myself here. And by the end of this video, you either want to visit or, like me, you'll be planning how to stay here longer. Aside from my country of origin, that is Ghana, I have never met people more welcoming than Brazilians. And I'm not just saying that to be nice. I've met people from different places, but the way people open their hearts up here in Brazil, it's on a whole new level. My first week here in Brazil, complete strangers were just inviting me to their homes, introducing me to their families. They were actually making me feel like I belonged. Even when my Portuguese was terrible, people were patient, helping me, teaching me little by little, and always with a smile. It's like no one wants you to feel left out. They actually want you to be part of the conversation, part of the fun, part of their culture. And that alone made me fall in love with Brazil. And then the food. The African influence in their food here in Brazil actually blew my mind. Dishes like acarajé, vatapá, moqueca, so rich and so full of flavor, you can actually literally feel the history in every bite. It's not just eating, it's actually experiencing culture through food. You walk into a small family restaurant, you order something you can't even pronounce, and the food comes out like a full experience. I grew up in a different food culture, but here, food actually feels like celebration, identity, and history all at once. It made me fall in love with Brazil on a completely different level. Now let's talk about something super underrated: transportation. Before moving here, I always thought Brazil would be very complicated to get around, but I was wrong. The variety of transportation options here makes life way more easier. You've actually got buses running in every direction, metro systems in the big cities that are very fast, cheap, and easy to use. And if you don't feel like using the public transport, there are actually apps like the Uber, and there's something we also call the 99 pop here in Brazil. Honestly, in my country, while I was still there, transportation always felt like a stress. Expensive bus fares, long distances, complicated routes. But here, I can easily get from one side of the city to the other side of the city without even breaking my wallet. And the best part, even when I visit smaller cities or towns, whether it's motor taxis, vans, or car shares, it actually makes life feel so much more accessible, especially if you don't have a car like myself. You feel mobile, you actually feel independent. Another thing that completely changed my view on Brazil is the university system. Because let's be honest, free education is a rare luxury in a lot of countries. But here, public universities are not only free, but they are also one of the best in Latin America. I was actually shocked when I realized that people don't have to get buried in student debt to study here in Brazil. And even beyond universities, there are free technical courses, professional programs, language courses, and they are accessible for everyone. I've met so many young people working towards big dreams without having to worry about tuition fees. Me coming from a place where education is actually treated like a product, seeing how Brazil invests in free education actually made me respect this country even more. It feels like here, knowledge isn't just for the privileged, it's for everyone who is willing to work for it. Let's talk about money because this surprised me. Compared to where I'm from, the cost of living in Brazil, especially rent, is way more affordable. But it all depends on the state or the city where you live. For example, there are states where things are very, very affordable, and there are states where things are a little bit more expensive. For example, the state where I live now in 2025, things are a little bit hard. So rent is high, food is expensive. So that is why in my previous videos I said that the cost of living here in my state, it's expensive. But in other videos from other creators, maybe you hear them saying that the cost of living in Brazil is cheap, because it all depends on the state you live and the city you live in. But you can actually live comfortably without needing a crazy salary. I found apartments in nice neighborhoods for a fraction of what I would pay back home. Eating out way cheaper, groceries. I think local markets here in Brazil actually make it more affordable to eat fresh every day. You don't feel like you are working just to survive. You feel like you are working to live. And honestly, that changed everything for me. It actually gave me the freedom to enjoy life more. Go out, enjoy, explore, try new things. Because I wasn't stuck inside worrying about bills every second of the day. And now, the biggest reason why I fell in love with Brazil: the freedom to be who you are. Listen, I grew up in a place where people always had something to say about how you dress, who you date, how you live your life. But in Brazil, it's different. People are expressive, people are loud, colorful, vibrant, and no one is afraid to show their true selves. In other places, and I'm talking about African countries, when a child decides to pursue, let's say, a dance career, an art career, a painting career, the parents are always in the child's mind, or even society. We grew up thinking that the only way forward, it's only studying medicine, only studying law. But here in Brazil, it's totally different. When they realize that the child likes to draw, the child likes to dance, they put the child in a dance school since childhood. So here you are free to choose whatever your heart desires, and not only what your parents want for you. I've also met people here who live openly with their sexuality, their identity, their personal style, and they are celebrated for it. No one looks at you weird for being different. I feel like I can just exist without constantly explaining myself. And honestly, that level of freedom is just priceless. It's the type of thing that makes you want to stay forever. So when people ask me, why do you love Brazil? I smile, because it's not only one thing. It's the people who make you feel like family, the rich, powerful food that connects you to history, the easy ways to get around, the fact that young people can dream without student debt, the affordable cost of living that lets you live instead of just survive, and most importantly, the freedom to be unapologetically yourself. This country has taught me and is still teaching me how to enjoy life, how to slow down, how to connect. And if you are thinking of visiting Brazil or maybe even moving, just do it. Come experience it for yourself. You might come for the beaches, but you stay for the heart. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe for more personal experiences, and drop a comment. Tell me what you love about your country, or maybe what makes you curious about Brazil. I'll see you in the next one.